In the midst of the Cold War, as tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union reached a boiling point, a covert operation unfolded in the waters off the coast of North Korea, leading to one of the most enigmatic chapters in Cold War history, the USS Pueblo incident. Starting its life in the US Navy as a light cargo ship, it was a very unremarkable ship, being used for training of sailors and then converted into what was known as a spy ship. Appearing to be a nondescript vessel, it was fitted with signals intelligence equipment. When it was requested by prospective commanding officer Lloyd Bucher, however, to install an emergency scuttling system, explosives for demolition charges, and a fuel-fed incinerator to allow speedy destruction of classified documents, all were denied, something that would come back to haunt the US Navy. As the 1960s neared their end, intelligence operations were rife on both sides of the Iron Curtain. The United States, seeking to gain an upper hand in the ongoing espionage battle, commissioned the Banner-class environmental research ship USS Pueblo for a unique mission. Disguised as an innocuous research vessel, the USS Pueblo was tasked with collecting intelligence off the North Korean coast. The stage was set for a dangerous game of cat and mouse that would have profound consequences. The incident unfolds. On the 11th of January 1968, the USS Pueblo departed from the Japanese port of Sasebo. Its crew comprised of 83 officers and enlisted men, including its commanding officer, Captain Lloyd M. Bucher. They embarked on their journey into the treacherous waters of the Sea of Japan. Their mission, to monitor North Korean naval activities, intercept radio signals, and gather intelligence while posing as an oceanographic research ship. The USS Pueblo sailed into international waters, maintaining a safe distance from North Korean territorial waters. However, the North Koreans, ever vigilant, had been monitoring the ship's movements closely. They suspected espionage and considered the ship's presence a provocation. On January the 23rd, 1968, all of a sudden, the USS Pueblo found itself surrounded by North Korean naval vessels and aircraft. It had been intercepted despite being in international waters. The North Koreans claimed that the ship had entered their territorial waters, an assertion strongly disputed by the US government. After initially approaching the Pueblo, the North Korean vessels attempted to board her, but she manoeuvred to prevent this for over 2 hours. One of the North Korean vessels, a submarine chaser, then eventually opened fire with a 57mm cannon, and the smaller vessels fired machine guns, injuring some of the crew on board the Pueblo. In all this commotion, the crew began destroying sensitive material. The volume of material on board was so great that it was impossible to destroy it all. Had the additional equipment that was originally denied by the Navy been fitted, it may have been the case that this fiasco could have been avoided altogether, be that by destroying all the sensitive documents or the ship being scuttled before it was able to be captured. An NSA report quotes Lieutenant Steve Harris, the officer in charge of Pueblo's Naval Security Group Command Detachment. "We had retained on board the obsolete publications and had all good intentions of getting rid of these things, but had not done so at the time we had started the mission. I wanted to get the place organised eventually, and we had excessive numbers of copies on board. Only a small percentage of the total classified material aboard the ship was destroyed." The crew members, ill-prepared for combat, had little choice but to surrender, and what followed was a tense standoff as the North Koreans detained them, whilst confiscating sensitive intelligence, materials, codes, and equipment. The crew's ordeal had just begun, as they were subjected to physical and psychological abuse. The crew were taken prisoner, and the USS Pueblo was towed to the North Korean port of Wonsan. However, the crew's ordeal had just begun, as they were then subjected to physical and psychological abuse. During the crew's capture, they were subject to beatings and forced confessions. The North Koreans sought to extract admissions of espionage from the crew, and these false confessions were broadcast internationally, being used as North Korean propaganda, further escalating tensions between the United States and North Korea. As news of the USS Pueblo's capture spread, the United States launched diplomatic efforts to secure the release of the crew and the return of the ship. Months of negotiations took place through diplomatic channels at the United Nations, with the US maintaining its position that the USS Pueblo had been in international waters at the time of its capture. The crew endured harrowing conditions during their 11-month captivity. They were subject to physical abuse and forced to endure mock executions. The psychological toll was immense, and the crew faced constant uncertainty about their fate. For North Korea, the USS Pueblo incident became a propaganda coup. They paraded the captured crew before the media and showcased their defiance against the United States. The incident fueled anti-American sentiment, both within North Korea and in other parts of the world where North Korean propaganda held sway. The United States, on the other hand, faced a complicated diplomatic dilemma. While publicly denouncing North Korea's actions, the US government was also keen to secure the release of the crew. Months of negotiations ensued. Finally, on December the 23rd, 1968, the crew members were released. Their return to the United States was met with relief and celebration, but the USS Pueblo remained in North Korean custody. The ship's capture had exposed vulnerabilities in US intelligence gathering operations, prompting a re-evaluation of such missions. Consequences and the complex legacy. The USS Pueblo incident had a lasting impact on Cold War history. For North Korea, it was a symbol of their resistance against the United States and a reminder of their ability to challenge American military might. The ship itself was turned into a museum in Pyongyang, where it remains on display to this day as a symbol of their victory. For the United States, the incident served as a cautionary tale about the perils of intelligence gathering in hostile territories. It was a stark reminder of the complex nature of Cold War diplomacy, where espionage and covert operations could quickly escalate into international crises. The legacy of the USS Pueblo incident continues to influence diplomatic relations between the United States and North Korea. While the incident itself eventually faded from the headlines, it remained a point of contention between the two nations for years. Negotiations for the return of the USS Pueblo continued periodically, but North Korea consistently refused to release the ship. In more recent times, diplomatic ties between the United States and North Korea have experienced both thaw and tension. The story of the USS Pueblo remains an enigmatic and sometimes overlooked chapter in this complex relationship. It serves as a reminder of the enduring legacy of the Cold War and the mysteries that still linger in its wake. In conclusion, the USS Pueblo incident, with its air of mystery, international intrigue, and lasting consequences, stands as a testament to the shadowy world of Cold War espionage. It serves as a historical marker reminding us of the high stakes and dangerous games played in the pursuit of intelligence during that tumultuous era. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give it a like, and for more amazing tales and thrilling stories, don't forget to subscribe to Uncovered Secrets. Also, hit the bell icon to stay notified for every release.